Hi friends, if you're looking for a few creative ideas on ways to use items that you already have on hand to create beautiful home decor, then let's get started. For project number 1, I'm taking a candle ring and turning it into a mini wreath. I'm applying a generous amount of E6000 glue to the back of this faux leather sign that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. It came in a pack with the Blessed and Grateful. I wanted to be careful not to glue it to the top of the leaves. I wanted it to have some stability, so that's why I'm using the scissors to be able to press down to the back of the wreath where the ring is. I then cut a piece of burlap ribbon and tied that for a little hanger, and then clipped off some of the plastic pieces that were kind of hanging that I didn't like on there. In my crafting supplies, I found some rawhide and thought that that would make a nice rustic bow and look good with the faux leather Blessed sign. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to use some E6000 and push it as far back as I can to the back of the ring. And that's it for this project. It's super simple. One of today's projects, I'm going to show you how I made that mini wreath holder. Project number 2, one of my favorite things to pick up secondhand are wooden signs that you don't need to do anything but clean and sand and get creative. I printed this out on water slide decal paper, sprayed it once with the triple clear spray from Krylon, and now we're going to apply it to this sign. I did create the sign over in Canva. If you do not already have a membership to Canva, I highly recommend it. They have both a free and pro version, and I'll put the link for you in the description box below. And I also have a second channel that's just strictly for Canva designs, and that is linked below as well. So this piece was soaking in room temperature water for about 45 seconds. Now I'm applying water to the wood sign because that way I can slide the decal if I need to get it into position. Now I'm pushing up the decal. You want to get it about a half an inch. You want something that you can grip with the side of your finger. Now I'm kind of guessing as to where I want it to be, just so I don't have to move it around too much. And then as I'm holding it on with the side of my finger, just gently pulling, but also lifting up so that the paper slides off easily. After the paper backing has been removed, you take a clean cloth, and I work from the center and push out. Now this piece of wood does have a lot of texture to it, so I really had to be careful and make sure that I was getting out all the air bubbles. And you also want to be careful and gentle so that you don't tear it. But that is one of the reasons that I use the Krylon triple spray, because it adds a little thickness to your water slide decal and does not make them as fragile. After the piece dried, I did spray the whole entire thing using the Krylon triple spray. Project number 3, I have had this giant embroidery hoop for about 2 years waiting for the perfect project. So of course, when I made the mason jar book page wreaths, I thought, I wonder if I can use it as like a wreath form. So I took the one piece off, and you can use either piece. Also, in the description box, I will link the blog post where I gave different alternatives to using book pages. I'll open this one up so you can see roughly the size of the page. I did twist each page using a pencil, but I did them prior to gluing them on. So after I did the outside row, I did the inside row, placing each piece about 3/4 of an inch apart. I'll show you how I wrapped the paper around the pencil, and then you twist. And the more that you crunch the pages, the fuller that it's going to be. And I applied a strip of glue from the top to the bottom, and then putting the page in place, and then I used a pair of scissors to hold it close so I didn't burn my fingers. So after I had the row completed on the inside and the outside, see where there's empty spaces? That's where I'm going to go and do another row. So the total piece ended up being over 3 feet across. The pages ended up being 7 inches wide. I still have to apply fabric or ribbon to cover up the back of the hoop. It took a total of 3 hours to do one this size, and you'll have to let me know if you think that I should apply color to it. I did decide to apply color to the little mini wreaths that we made 2 Sundays ago. And I did this by applying the antiquing wax that I showed in last Sunday's video. You can also use one as a candle ring. And for the center here, I used an insulator with a battery operated candle inside. And then some insulators, you can turn them right side up and stick a tapered candle in. And some of them you can turn upside down and place a votive candle inside. Project number 4 is a trash to treasure project. We're going to be upcycling this tin can by applying some of the book pages that I sprayed antique wax on, which I showed in last Sunday's video, and I'll have a link to that in the description box below for you. I tore each piece on all 4 sides so it would give it a nice layered look. I love how they all got a lot of antiquing wax except for that one spot. So of course I had to put that right up front. And then after the piece had dried, I applied a thin coat of Mod Podge all around the can, and then took some sandpaper, went around the top of the edge to smooth it out. Now I did apply pages all the way around the top on the inside, so that way it would have a more finished look. I did apply white paint to the bottom of the can, and I want to do a couple squirts of that antique wax just so it will blend in, but I love the way that it turned out. I took some pine twigs, wrapped some jute ribbon around them, added some pine cones, some Spanish moss, and some birch bark for a simple fall display, and that didn't cost a dime to make. Project number 5, I'm going to try to make a wreath holder out of this thrifted candlestick and a wooden tool handle. The first thing I did was sand the wooden tool handle. Next, I'll drill a hole up at the top of it, place a metal base of the handle inside of the candlestick, and applied E6000. I allowed the piece to dry overnight and then sprayed it with 2 coats of the Krylon flat black spray paint, and then placed the nail inside the hole that I pre-drilled with some E6000. And there you have a simple, easy to make mini wreath holder. To watch how I made the book page pumpkin, you're going to want to click on the video on the left, and to see 13 other tin can DIY ideas, you're going to want to click on the video on the right. Friends, I apologize. I know that I mentioned I would be showing our new canvas put up on the wall. However, I got good news that there was a last minute cancellation, and I was able to get a spot at one of our small local fall fairs. So needless to say, I have a hot mess piled up in my dining room that I'm trying to organize and get ready for this Saturday. But I'll be sure to show it to you soon. Friends, have a super blessed week, and thank you for joining me.